Hello, everyone. Welcome to Carnage Candy. I'm Grayson, and this is Shaun, and today we're talking about something pretty cool in honor of Nosferatu coming out next week. Just let that sink in.
Oh, man.
We watched Dracula 92, or as Shaun likes to call it, Dracula rated R, and it 100% owns up to that title.
So when I was a kid, I used to see the case, and if you look at the case to Dracula, I'm sorry, get the keyboard.
Yeah, I figured you made me do this.
I'm sorry. If you get the case, just Google Dracula 92 poster. If you Google the case for Dracula 1992, it just looks so not for kids. This is like the worst possible. Like, if you're looking at your parents' VHS collection and you see this, you're like, oh, I'm not allowed to watch that one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's so simple, though.
Yeah.
In the best way.
Yeah, it's a statue, castle, like
wall.
It's a wall. And just the pictures of all the actors down low is so sick. But yeah, I saw this movie when I was a little kid. I will say that, especially after our rewatch, I think that this gave me a sexual trauma.
Yeah.
I think that it affected me in more ways than like me being 5 or 6 and seeing Keanu Reeves get his thighs sucked on.
A lot more than that happening to Keanu in this.
We'll dive into it, but like, I think I have like actual psychological trauma from this. I think it's why I have this really weird succubus kink, and why like I'm just kind of I'll be honest, I'm kind of a pervert. I think it's because of Dracula 1992.
So
Dracula rated R.
I watched Dracula rated R when I was probably about 10, and I hadn't seen it until about a week ago.
Okay. But you've heard me talk about it so
yes,
much.
like I've seen the film, but I haven't watched it in so long that I was like, I need a refresher on this. I need to watch it again to see how it compares to Nosferatu. I did not remember this film being this horny.
It is the horniest film maybe ever made.
There is not 10 minutes that goes by that you do not see boobs or somebody is moaning.
Or getting licked. There's less sex in pornos than in Dracula 1992.
It is insane. I was watching it with Tiff, and Tiff had been like, oh yeah, I've seen this movie. And the opening happens, and she goes, what's this? And I go, what do you mean? She goes, who's this dude in the armor? No, that's Dracula. What are you talking about? She goes, oh, yeah. My dad had a recorded version of it. I've never seen this opening.
Oh, yeah.
And then she found out it wasn't even Dracula rated R that she had seen.
Awesome. So she just went in completely blind. So I grew up and my dad loved this movie, right? Obviously, my dad was not good at judging what a kid should watch. And like, this movie kind of floated between you can't watch it and go ahead.
Yeah.
Right? And it kind of existed because he would watch it all the time.
Yeah.
Obviously, because number one, my dad loved vampires. Number two, there's titting like crazy in this movie.
He's a vampire.
Yes. And so it would just be on. And a lot of times I would be like, this movie's boring.
Yeah, you would say that 5 minutes in and be like, whoa!
And I think it just goes, honestly, to the way it's made. And I did some Wikipedia on this thing. And I looked at what Coppola did. Winona brought this to him, brought the project to him.
Okay.
She thought that Coppola hated her because she dropped out of The Godfather and fucked production up. So she thought Coppola hated her.
Oh, interesting.
And she brought it to him like a peace offering, and just, I think, kind of to poke, like, do you like me?
Yeah.
Because he was so prestigious, right? And he fell in love with it, and he said he wanted to create like an erotic fever dream.
Well, he did.
And focus on the love. He was working with CGI people.
Okay.
They told him he had to use CGI to make what he wanted to make. And he said, fuck you, you're all fired. And he hired his son to do the special effects.
I did see that in the credits. I saw his son's name pop up.
And that's why you have so much rear projection,
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
That's why whenever Elizabeth, when she leaps from the tower, that's why it looks so weird and nightmarish. And that's why this movie has aged perfectly.
It really has, especially the scene to where Keanu is on the train at the beginning and he's riding, and in the distance you see the eye pop up in the clouds. Like, it's cheesy, but it's so cool.
And it's scary.
It is. It's very unnerving.
It reminds me a lot of, there's a scene in the Nosferatu trailer that has the hand going over the city, and I'm like, oh, dude, this guy loves Dracula 92.
He loves rated R.
Yeah, he loves Dracula
rated R.
And so the rear projection stuff, there's a scene where Lucy is getting pushed back in her grave.
Yeah.
She's actually acting.
Is it in reverse?
Yeah, well, she's acting doing it backwards.
Yeah,
and then they put it in reverse.
Yeah.
So it looks like really weird.
I mean, it's really cool. That's one of my favorite scenes in the movie.
So first off, let's start with Keanu. One of the worst castings of all time.
I feel so bad because his character is so important, but every time he gets on screen, I'm like, Keanu, I love you, but this is such a bad cast for him.
Yeah, so Coppola said that he needed a heartthrob to sell the movie. And he said that in an interview, he said he really begged Keanu to relax and try not to try so hard with the accent. But Keanu was so overly dedicated, he pushed himself too hard.
Yeah, he did. His accent's bad.
Yeah, he is regarded as one of the worst British accents of all time, if not the. And Coppola really it was kind of sweet. Coppola's like, bless his heart.
Yeah,
he really tried hard. I'll never hate him for it, but I begged him to lay off a little bit and just, hey, it's okay if some of your natural voice comes through, you know. But Winona's in it. She is so horny as Mina. She wants to bang so bad. Harker, Keanu's character, is off to handle real estate for Dracula, of course. We all know the story. And what are your thoughts watching this as a grown man whenever you see Gary Oldman come down? Well, actually, first, that armor.
His armor, I was going to bring this up to you. I want a figure of him so bad in that armor. I think they made one in the 2000s, but I want a brand new one because his armor is so tough.
I know.
It is. It's the cool, ridiculous armor. It's bright red and the horns on top.
And he's like impaling people and holding them up.
It's so awesome.
Whenever he stabs the crucifix and it starts to bleed.
I was going to bring this up. What's going on there?
Yeah.
He just slams, there's this bulb on a cross, and he slams his sword into it, and blood starts pouring out.
Actual Jesus blood comes out of it.
He starts drinking it, and then he's like, yo, I'm a vampire.
I hate this church so much. I'm a drink Jesus' blood and tell y'all to fuck off, and I'm Dracula.
Yeah. You get my favorite part about it is you get no scene of him really like transforming that much. It's just like next thing you get, hey, I'm Dracula, dog. Yeah. I got boobs on my head all of a sudden.
I know. And so he comes down the stairs in the toughest red cloak ever, and he is so like gross and effeminate, and it's like he's very like kind of exotic and like very flamboyant, and then like absolutely disgusting at the same time. What were your thoughts and Tiff whenever you see that makeup?
That's the main part of the movie that I remember. I remember the old decrepit Dracula very, very well.
Yeah, it was so different because, you know, you have the hairline coming into the V.
Yep.
That's like the traditional Christopher Lee Dracula. And he was so... Welcome to my castle. I look so old.
I think the main thing that made me laugh was, you said his name's John Harker. Is that his name?
Yeah, Harker, yeah.
It is crazy on how stupid Harker is.
Yeah.
You see this guy come down, he's literally floating at you the whole movie.
He's just kind of like, it's so good.
And it takes him like days to be like, something's wrong here.
Yeah.
I don't know what this dude's problem is. And then he's climbing down the wall.
Yeah, that climbing down the wall like a lizard gave me nightmares. In the book, it's revealed that like the way Dracula can appear behind him, he's crawling through tunnels in the castle.
That makes sense.
The reason he's able to, it appears that he. So I studied Dracula in college.
Yeah.
It was awesome. My senior seminar was dealing with Frankenstein, AI, Dracula, Blade Runner stuff. You know, Do Android's Dream. So we read Dracula. We did a whole seminar on it. But yeah, so he crawls through basically the ducts and small crawl spaces of the castle, and he can just crawl wherever he wants, like a lizard. And so the book is written from letters to each other.
I was just about to ask if that's the one written through letters. I couldn't remember if it was that or Frankenstein.
Yeah, so Harker is like, hey, I saw Dracula crawling on the walls outside my window. I don't know if I'm going crazy or if I really saw it, Mina, but it's fucking weird.
So he's actually sending letters back to Mina. So they changed that in the movie.
Yeah.
Because in the movie, it's literally like, I've been told to stay a month. I'll see you then.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, he's sending letters, and he is trapped and held as a blood slave for Dracula. So this very important scene with the succubuses and Dracula's brides. I've seen this movie so many times. I never realized that she sucks blood in a stream out of his nipple. It sprays out of his nipple. What were your thoughts on that?
I've never seen it before. Yeah. I will tell. I think that's the first time I've ever seen blood shoot out of a nipple.
Yes.
I've seen a lot of stuff in horror. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Dracula's brides, the three women they cast are the most beautiful in the world, including Monica Bellucci.
Yep.
And they screw Harker 3 ways from Sunday and drain the blood out of him over the period of months, starting with this weird Medusa reverse gangbang,
fucking
they're biting his legs and his neck and sucking blood out of his nipples, and they turn into Medusas. And
I would go down and say that scene is definitely one of the more crazier scenes in the movie, because right after you get done with that and they're kind of like being thrown away by Dracula.
Yeah, and they kind of crawl away. They're like, ah!
Out of nowhere, you think it's going to be over, and then Dracula pulls out a baby and then just hands it to them, and they eat the baby, and he laughs while it's happening, and then it cuts to Keanu's yell.
Yeah.
This is a debate that Tiff and I got into.
Okay.
Because Tiff, I'm going to shoot forward in the movie. At the end of it, Tiff was like, Dracula wasn't a bad guy.
Oh!
And I went.
I love it.
I stared at her. I went, he fed a baby to vampires. An infant child. I went, he is 100% evil.
I think she just got a little overzealous. Empathetic is yes. Good.
I think she just had a crush on Gary Oldman.
Okay, so that's another thing we'll get into. So Dracula ships himself into England, or into London.
In his own soil, because he has to have it.
Yes, he has to have his own earth. In our studies class, this was written at a high time of fear of the Orient.
Okay.
The Europe was scared of an Eastern invasion.
Okay.
Like a reclamation of their own lands.
Okay.
So Dracula is kind of described as like an Eastern Asian kind of ethnicity. In some light, it seemed kind of racist. Because there's just a great fear of the East coming and like taking over and like ransacking everything. Paraphrase, of course. Don't yell at me, YouTube comments. But so like when he's coming, like Anthony Hopkins, his Van Helsing character, makes some like really kind of like off-kilter jokes about like syphilis and shit whenever he's educating his board. And so you get. Van Helsing is a doctor of medicine.
You could say that. You could say that he's a doctor of medicine, or you could just say he's batshit crazy.
Oh, I love it. I'm so glad you came, because I was going to say, Anthony Hopkins is a psycho in this movie.
I cannot believe. I had a thought as a kid. I was like, man, I can't wait till Anthony Hopkins shows up, because he is such a heroic person. He is insane in this film.
Yeah.
He is crazy.
Yeah. So you get Dracula comes to England. Mina is with Lucy. Lucy is Mina's coquettish friend.
Yeah.
I'm assuming Lucy has never had sex before, but she likes to pretend that
I think she says that she has not, because she makes a joke to Lucy about how she did that. And then she was like, have you really? And she goes, no, I've never done anything like that.
So Lucy's being courted by 3 awesome characters. The mogul, Carrie Ellis. The doctor, who takes care of Renfield. And the super badass cowboy.
The Texan.
Yeah, the Texan. It's so cool that Bram Stoker was like, I need 3 studs. I'm gonna make one of them from Texas.
And he's gonna carry a big knife.
Yeah, so you got like this kind of team of Lucy, Suitors, and Van Helsing. Lucy, Dracula gets out the hole, turns into Harry werewolf vampire, and then fucks Lucy right there in the garden.
That was the part to where, whenever we were watching it, I'm like on the middle side of the couch, and Tiff is on the end, like kind of like reclined out watching, and she literally sat up and just looked over at me, and she's like, "What is this?" God, Dracula, rated R.
And it's like Lucy is.
It is very like, whoa, when it's happening.
There are legs wrapped around, and Lucy is like, it's like she seems to be having fun, but it's definitely not consensual.
Yeah.
And then it's like, is she entranced? And then it's like she's moaning, and she's having sex with a monster, and it's like, yeah, and I'm 6, y'all.
I'm 10.
I'm 6 years old. I'm like, they're doing stuff and they're not supposed to. And like, this is like you've already seen Gary Oldman 3 different ways.
Yeah.
You got Armor Garrel, you got Dracula, old Dracula.
Now Wolf Boy.
Now Wolf Boy. And of course, Lucy's like taking over. So this is where you get your exposition. And while I read about this, while Lucy does her moaning fits in the bed, Gary Oldman was whispering to her fucked up shit off camera.
Of course.
Because Coppola told him to.
Of course. Of course.
So while she's moaning and stuff, Gary Oldman's probably like, oh, I'm touching you, girl. You know? Isn't that weird?
God, that is so weird.
Could you imagine being in there?
No.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on Lucy and just the 3 suitors? Did Tiff have any reaction to these really hot men?
Not really. She kind of forgot about them.
Yeah.
And it's kind of sad. I understand why you would forget about them, because they do kind of disappear for a while.
Yeah, they
show
come in
up
as needed. Yeah.
They show up, and then you have, the one doctor that's with Renfield.
Yeah.
But the other 2 are just gone.
Yeah.
Like, you don't see them for like 30 minutes whenever she goes through her like vampire episode.
Yeah.
So she thought they were cool. She really liked Carrie Ellis's character, because she just likes Carrie Ellis.
He's super cute. Yeah.
But other than that, she didn't really have an opinion on him.
Yeah. So we start to get the transfusion. Dracula's coming in, and you get, again, after Lucy's taken over, like, Mina's kind of wandering around. Harker's distant because he's still being held, right?
Yeah, I don't really remember.
He eventually escapes.
He escapes. I don't remember seeing how he escaped.
He jumps out and gets washed.
He gets in the water?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I guess it went by so fast that I just didn't remember it, but I was like, how did he get here?
Yeah, but he's messed up because
he's got gray hair and everything.
And he kind of falls to the wayside, and Anthony kind of takes over the show from here. But Mina looks like Dracula's fallen Elizabeth. Dude, Gary Oldman's fit in this movie.
Oh, he looks awesome the whole movie.
His drip is insane.
His top hat with his shades whenever he first gets to England is crazy.
Hand me that. Let's show him that top hat real quick.
He got the blue shades on with the top hat.
Yeah. Oh my God in heaven. I mean, the fit is insane right here. Oh my God.
I do like him as Dracula a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I think he is a good cast for Dracula.
He's spectacular. I think he didn't originally want to be the part, but he really just wanted to work with Coppola.
Yeah.
And oh my God, it's so awesome, man. He looks so good. But yeah, Gary Oldman is kind of seducing Mina.
Yep.
And Mina's kind of just entranced and can't handle it.
Mina's definitely into it. So that's all going on. And then Lucy, I think, has her full-blown
transformation.
No, yeah, and then Dracula bites her, right? Because they do the blood fusion. Then Dracula basically is like, hey, you're going to work for me now.
Yeah.
You're a part of the crew
You
now.
get the mist form now. And you're just getting the full gamut of like everything that Dracula can do.
Did Mina already turn Dracula down at that point? Is that why? Because she didn't show up to the.
He was already sucking. He's just building. Building.
Because I thought she had turned him down
basically.
and was like, I'm supposed to be married.
Yeah.
So I thought that's what sent him on the rage to like fully turn her.
Yeah, that does happen after. I think he's always after Mina because he's trying to reincarnate Elizabeth regardless. But either way, he was gonna try to turn as many new brides, basically stateside or Europe side. You get like these really weird interactions and Mina's like, oh, I can't, no, I like you. You're such a strange man. And then he'll like teleport and shit. The kind of turn happens after Lucy gets staked and chopped in the grave.
Before that happens, there's a line that Anthony Hopkins has with the doctor. And he goes, they're talking about what they're going to do with the body. And he's like, well, Van Helsing, what do you want to do? And he goes, I want to chop off her head and take out her heart and study it.
Yeah.
Just like that. Yeah. And the guy's like, she just died.
Yeah, Van Helsing's like almost more inhumane than Dracula
he is.
Right?
Like, I would go out and say that I almost think that Van Helsing is more evil than Dracula.
You think so?
I really do, because if he's going through that, what all did he do to figure all this out?
Yeah, I think it's just like the science was so crude, right?
Yes.
He's just like, he just wants to figure it out. And he's like, he almost has less humanity than Dracula because he's just cold. He just wants to stop it.
No filter on him of
yeah,
whatsoever.
no filter.
He does not stop. He does not care what people think. He has one mission: science. It's science and vampire slaying.
I'll kill these vampires and figure out how to stop it forever.
How do you know they're a vampire? I don't know. Science.
Yeah, I studied this. Where?
Yeah, where did you get the studying from?
I've always kind of thought this, even as a kid. The last 30 to 40 minutes of it remind me a lot of Tombstone, in that
I could see why.
It's just like a big flash of like crazy shit happening.
Yes.
Like Mina finally is kind of like consummating with Dracula, and like she's licking his body like crazy, and then he like slashes his wrist.
Right, or no, it's his chest, right underneath his nipple. Because they get like a close up, and it's his nipple, and then the slash. on the chest.
And she's like licking his blood wound. Doesn't he do like a wrist thing to feed somebody though? Because as a kid, I remember it freaking me out.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
I want to say that there is something that's like that. He might have done that with...
Doesn't he use his fingernail or something?
He might have done that with me? I don't remember.
Anyways. Then, like, they go and they stop him. He turns into the bat.
Yeah.
Version.
Before that, he has the mist.
Yeah.
Because the
green floaties. Yeah.
Van Helsing and then the other... Well, there's 4 of them now because Harker's with them. But they're tearing up his house.
Hell yeah.
And Dragon's like, I don't care, I'm missed, I'm gonna get my girl.
Yeah.
And then they go on this crazy train ride, and they're like, we're gonna intercept this and we're gonna burn the boat down.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh no, Dracula found out what we were doing. How did that happen? I don't know. Maybe because he bit the girl and he can tell what's going on.
Yep.
And Helsing doesn't know about that, does he?
So then, like, they're, like, on a quest to, like, save Mina. Van Helsing shows up to the brides, and, like, he whoops their ass, chops their heads off, tosses them in the river.
Which makes no sense, because they're, like, They're about to get him.
Yeah.
In the ice, and then out of nowhere, the next scene, he's just got their heads in his hand. He's
Hell.
like Dracula, and he throws them off the cliff.
I know, it's
just
awesome.
tosses them off the cliff.
It's Dracula.
He just throws them, and he's just covered in blood, and he's got this sword. And then all of a sudden, Winona Ryder can scream up in the sky and shoots out these like weird blue
Chariot chase.
Yeah, then you got freaking your Tombstone moment happen.
Yeah.
Gunfire going all over the place. You got rifles, explosions, people being drugged behind.
The chariot, and they're chasing Dracula down. He's got to get back to the castle. And it's happened as sudden as we're describing it.
Yeah, it is literally like, oh man, it's a romance from it. They're being shot at.
Yeah. They're killing Dracula.
Dracula's just laughing
familiars.
inside the carriage. He's like,
Yeah, he's doing like weird
yeah.
shit. They get to the castle like right when the sun goes down, and then Dracula bursts out of his coffin because he can be out in the day. He gets his throat cut, and it's the grossest.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Because Keanu goes, whack, and hits him right across the neck, and Dracula's like, whatever, dog, whatever.
Yeah.
He no-sells it. He's just like, whatever. Okay, you think I've never had my throat
He's
slit?
got a big sword and goes,
And he's like, yeah, all right.
and so he's in these amazing like golden robes, and then blood spewing everywhere. And I think my favorite form and the scariest form is half demon, half old Dracula. Blood pouring out, neck cut, getting carried by Mina, and he's got like a dog face, kind of.
It's wild, yeah.
And of course, like the brides are gone because Van Helsing just chopped their heads off, throwing them in the river. The cowboy bites it because he got slashed and he's dying there. Carrie Ellis and the doctor there helping. Van Helsing and Harker are just like, let Mina take them in.
How did Mina and Van Helsing get down to him just as fast as they arrived? No clue.
And that's the best part. Coppola says, shut up.
Exactly. Like they're on a mountain away from him, and they're looking down and can see him in the distance going, and they're right there
They're
with
watching
him.
a chariot chase, and then 2 seconds later, they're there. And that's, I will tell you, this is one of the reasons, like, nothing is more indicative that a director is in control of what's happening than to sell you on the fact that you are dreaming when you're watching this movie. It is so disorienting. And Coppola goes, yeah, I did it on purpose. It's supposed to play like a crazy nightmare because that's what's happening. And so you get this, like, they're back at the church. Dracula's just gross.
He is gross, and he's bleeding everywhere because he got worked on pretty hard.
Yeah. He turns back into handsome Gary Oldman.
Which is, I wish he wouldn't have.
Yeah, I think it would have been, I do wish, that's probably my only gripe.
Well, the reason why it happens is because the thing on the ceiling.
Yeah.
So he turns back into that.
But it would have been more disturbing to watch Winona engage with that dog
but
face.
it also goes back to whenever he was in the beast form, and he goes, don't look at me.
Yes.
So it's going back to that again.
And you get like a real emotive ending, enough to elicit a response of a baby killing Dracula to make Tiff think he was the good guy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get it, but she really thought that. I was like, he's evil.
I think she just thought I would love him.
Yeah, I think so too.
I would love him because there's nothing. Dracula is endlessly a romantic film.
For sure.
Because he drank the blood of Christ and then became a demon because he loved somebody so much.
Even the Universal Dracula movie,
it's
still like a romantic film.
Yeah.
But you do have the scenes where, they're on the stairs and they're looking up at everything, and then, they have their moment, and then Mina pulls up a sword and just whap! Head's gone. It cuts up to the ceiling again. Credits. Done. No more of this film. We're not talking about any of the people that are outside. We're not going to talk about what happens to Mina. It's done. Dracula's head is off. Mina is the best. Move on. It is so fast. It is literally like, I love you. Flat.
I've seen the movie a dozen times, and I watch it every year. Even this time I watched it in the credits roll, I went,
yeah, there's so much more that I want to know. Like, what is John Harker going to say about all this?
Yeah.
Like, how does he feel knowing that we don't know if Mina's not going to be a vampire now?
Yep.
She probably is.
Yep.
Like, what are they
Or
going to do?
is the curse lifted?
Yeah, we don't know.
Is
It's
Van
just
Helsing
done.
Is he getting a grant from the college after all this?
Is Van Helsing going to kill her too and study her? We don't know.
But yeah, it's just so. I've seen the movie so many times, and I was still just like, oh.
It is so abrupt.
I know.
It's just black screen, red font.
Yeah.
That's all you get.
The font is so red. But yeah, the Mina's like, I love you. Knife.
Whap. Good head cut though.
Yeah.
Good head lopping.
Yeah, it is a spectacular head lop. But yeah, it's just like, man, I love everything about this.
Whenever I was watching the film, the whole time I went, man, this explains Shaun so much.
Yeah.
Like the whole time I'm watching it, because I cannot stress this enough. If you have not watched this movie in 10 years, I guarantee you there is not a more horny film than this. I will stand by that. It should have been on the box.
Are you preloading a decade worth of viewership saying that nothing will beat this?
I don't know if it can.
You're saying even in 2034, there will not be a more horny movie than Dracula 90?
There probably is something out there, but for me, I've never sat back and watched the movie. Even the final chapter, Friday the 13th, in the remake, there's like 30-minute to 40-minute gaps to where nothing's happening. This one, they make sure.
It's not just the amount of sex, it's also the repression of sex that makes it hornier. It's like, it's not just horny because they triple team Keanu and suck his blood. It's not just horny because Mina really wants to have sex with Harker. It's not just horny because there's a lot of licking. It's horny because there's sexual tension between almost every character. Even Dracula, like when Harker cuts his neck.
Yeah, it's still, there's that tension right there between those two,
It's like, you think that Dracula might fuck Harker. Even when even the act of when he licks the razor.
Oh God.
He's so like, it's blood, the necessity for blood draws a sexual presence from everybody. It's not just about sexual horniness. There's a tension around every dynamic in the movie, and then the act of blood, which is obviously inherently sexual because you're sucking a neck.
Yeah.
They are so horny for blood.
Yeah. The best thing about that is you kind of hit the nail on the head, because everybody in this character does have tension, because even Van Helsing does.
Yeah.
Even Van Helsing has it whenever he's with Winona in the little ice field thing, or the snow field, because he's like, oh, yes, I love you. Wait a minute.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because she's kind of halfway seducing him.
Everyone.
Yeah, I think it's so weird.
I will tell you right now, I don't know what to give this film.
You don't know what to give?
I got done with it, and Tiff goes, what'd you think? I went, don't know. I still don't know.
Oh, well, I think it's a masterpiece.
I will not. Do I think it's bad? No. Do I think it's a masterpiece? I don't know. I just watched it like this the whole time. It's just like, and the whole time I was just thinking about me at 10, you at 6, and both of our reactions. I wiped the whole film from my head.
Yeah.
Like, it was just gone.
Yeah. It's a spectacular movie. I think it's a quintessential watch. If I made a you have to watch it before you die list, this would be on a top 10. Like, you have to experience it to like understand what it's going to give you. And the insane part is that this is a tale that had already been made over like a dozen times.
Yeah. I mean, Dracula has been all over the place with Hammer horror films, just like the 70s Dracula movies that they had.
Blaxploitation films.
Yeah,
right?
like Dracula's story had been told so many times that it needed something fresh, and they definitely gave it to him in this one.
Yeah, I think Nosferatu will be that for this generation.
I don't...
a definitive Dracula telling.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be as horny as this.
We'll see.
We will see.
It might be.
It very. I hope to look back at this video and be like, man, Grayson, you were so wrong.
Yeah, yeah. But it's spectacular. It's insane that Coppola. Okay, here's my final thought. Dracula 92 is a testament to it's never impossible for a fresh take on something.
Yeah.
Because if you already have well over a dozen adaptations of Dracula, and then you make this, are you he made a gothic horror film in 1992, one of the biggest films of the year.
Yeah, he did.
That is insane.
Way to go. Way to really bring it in there. I want your review on the box.
Just heater.
I want that. But yeah, I think I'm gonna have to think more about what I want to give this.
How often will you watch this movie in the future? Will you watch this every couple of years, do you think? Or maybe never again?
I'm not gonna say I'll never watch it again because I'm such a fan of like special features and commentaries that this is a movie that I would definitely watch with commentary because I would want to hear what they'd say about each scene.
Yeah.
So I would probably watch this, I'd say probably like every 3 years or something. I'd probably put it in just so it's kind of fresh every time I watch it.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's a masterpiece. I don't know, man. I'm still in my head.
I will also say I would put this up there with Flintstones and Grinch as production design.
I will do that 100%.
Yeah, as far as like the sets, the castle, costumes.
The train.
Yeah, the train. Yeah, I would put this up there with Flintstones and the Grinch as like this is a physical world that people built.
His castle is so cool.
Yeah.
And the font they use for Dracula on the cover is so good.
Yeah. Dracula rated R. What a spectacular time. I'm so glad you watched this. I had so much fun talking.
It made me excited to go and watch Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
Yes.
Because I've never seen it.
And we will have to watch that. Yeah. It'll be great. Did you also know that they made a Mr. Hyde movie with Julia Roberts and John Malkovich?
What?
Yeah. It's
When?
not called Dr. in the same time as this.
No?
In the 90s. There's a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde movie with John Malkovich and Julia Roberts.
Stay tuned, because you're going to see that too.
All right. Goodbye.
Goodbye!